Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Grant Kirkhope, and he is the musical composer of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, which Banjo-Kazooie just celebrated 25 years, which means I've been playing the game for 25 years. And he's also done other things like GoldenEye and World of Warcraft and many other things. I mean, did you really do that many?
I did. Yes, I guess it's been 25 years of my career, right? I guess I started in 1995. So,
There you go.
so I guess I've done quite a lot over the years, I suppose. That's how you do it, right? You got to make a living, right?
Absolutely. Well, as I said, I've been playing. These are the original cartridges. This one from 2000, Banjo-Tooie. This one from
Right,
98, Banjo-Kazooie. The
right.
original cartridges that I've been playing, and they still work 25 years later, which is so exciting. And
You see, good old faithfuls, you can't beat them.
absolutely, same Nintendo 64. I think I had that one since 96 or 97. You know,
Right,
they still work. You can't beat the originals, and I'm so glad they still work.
right.
This is your second time I had you on, so just to refresh everybody's memory, if they have seen the first one, or if they haven't, just to give them a little insight on how did you get your start? How did you become a composer? What made you get interested in music?
Uh, I went through, I played recorder and trumpet as a kid, and guitar and stuff like that. I ended up at the Royal Northern College of Music in Manchester in the UK doing a music degree. So I did that, and then I left and kind of ended up just went back onto unemployment insurance after that, playing in rock bands and stuff. So I spent about 11 years on and off unemployment benefit kind of thing. You call it insurance here, we call it something else in the UK. And then my mate Robin Beanland, who I played in local bands with at the time, he was a keyboard player, and he announced he'd got a job at a company called Rare, who I'd never heard of. And I was like, oh, really? What are you going to do? He said, I'm going to write music for video games. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. So he went to there, and he's been there about a year and a half. He sort of said to me, Grant, you've been on and off unemployment for about 11 years because I had about 22 to 33. And he said, why don't you try doing what I'm doing? So I bought some equipment and made some demos on cassette tapes and sent them to Rare over the course of 1994, like 5 cassette tapes, never got a reply. And then I got a letter out of the blue saying, please come for an interview. And I got the job. Couldn't believe it. So if Robin Beeland, my mate, hadn't done, he's still there doing Theatre Thieves. If he hadn't done that and suggested that I do it, I'd never done it. So absolute fluke.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Banjo-Kazooie is 25 years this year. It just celebrated, I believe, at the end of June. So from Banjo-Kazooie, what is your favorite song that you've done?
I get asked that a lot, right? It's a tough one because I guess it changes from day to day. Um, I do like Please Easy Peak. I do like Mad Monster Mansion. I mean, I don't dislike any of them. Like,
Right.
it's just that ask me tomorrow, I'll give you a different answer. So, and it was, what Banjo was that I'd done GoldenEye, but just prior to Banjo, right? But Banjo's the first game I did by myself, so I did all the music and all the sound effects in Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. And so I didn't really know what I was doing when I wrote the music for Banjo-Kazooie or GoldenEye for that matter. And so, I feel like it's just one of those things that just one of those flukes that I happened upon that certain kind of quirky sound that I kind of found, and then it just kind of fitted the characters, and then it never ceases to amaze me that people still talk about it 25 years later.
Mhm.
Like it's super humbling, and it's very nice that people still remember it with fond memories because I thought maybe Banjo would last 6 weeks, 6 months, I don't know, not 25 years. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And like I said, this is my childhood. I mean, 8 years old, waiting at GameStop, or was it Electronic Boutique or whatever it was at the time, and just waiting to get this game. And I absolutely loved every minute of it. It's got that charm, and the music. Without you, I honestly don't think the game would really be as good, because the music really enlightens the experience. It really makes it amazing.
Well,
Um,
it's very kind of to say so. I mean, obviously, a lot of people, there's a good hardcore team there, like I guess like 14, 15 people, I think that many, maybe a bit less than that. And we all put our absolute hearts and souls into making Banjo-Kazooie.
Absolutely.
Everybody in that team was spectacularly good. Not me, of course, but them. And so I feel like I was just the kind of cherry on the top. They did all the hard work and making the game have all that charm. And also, that's just the way that Rare was in those days, right? I think Rare was a super special place back then. and the Stamper family who ran the company, everything, their kind of their ethos just bled into everybody else, right? So I feel like it's one of those moments when the stars align, right? The team all got along together. We went out and drank together. We did everything together. We were best friends together for all that time, and we stayed together for all the time. I was at Rare. I was at Rare for nearly 13 years. I was with those guys nearly all that time.
Yeah.
It's just there's just the stars aligned, right? Lightning in a bottle.
Absolutely. And I like I said before we started recording, I played Banjo-Kazooie. Like that was my entire day yesterday. I just played it from start to finish. And the other day I played Banjo-Tooie. And what I can't believe I'm still finding new Easter eggs in Banjo-Tooie, just rare, having all of the, like, I believe, was it Conkers was that was in Banjo-Kazooie. I saw that yesterday. Conkers is in Rusty Bucket Bay.
Right.
Just all these Easter eggs is really, really cool. Regarding the music, did you complete all of them in one fell swoop, and they said, "Good job, Grant, you did an amazing job," or did you have to update anything?
So I was on banjo from the start. So I write music as we go along, as each level kind of got put together, right? And I was doing sound effects too, so that took up a lot of time. Yeah. So I did have a different piece for Mumbo's Mountain and Treasure Trove Cove. They were different. And then quite close to the end, Chris Stamper, Tim Stamper's brother, who they ran the company, he felt they didn't quite match, and he thought I could do better. So I quickly rewrote Mumbo's Mountain and Treasure Trove Cove. I kind of feel like I stumbled across that tritone oddball thing later in the game. So when it went to the later pieces are a bit like that. When I went back to listen to to Mumbo's Mountain and Treasure Trove Cove, they weren't really like that. So I changed them. So Mumbo's Mountain was a bit like a Elephant Walk, and that's an old piece of music, but a bit like that. And Treasure Trove Cove was had the Wipeout sort of Beach Boysy bit in the middle of it. I mean, you can find those online; they are online somewhere, and on YouTube somewhere. And so, and I went back and made Mumbo's Mountain that more quirky way, and then I kind of did a more. I mean, Treasure Trove Cove is sort of based on the main banjo theme tune at the start of the game, so same kind of chord sequence. But to reintroduce that kind of more quirkiness that I stumbled upon later in the game, like when I get Monster Mansion and things like that. So I did rewrite those two. But inside the anthill on Mumbo's Mountain, I left the original tune in there. So when you go inside the anthill, that is the original tune. Even though it's a very cut down, light version, that is the original theme that's inside the anthill.
Oh, nice. And I'm sure you might have gotten asked this question before. I mean, this is a question that I've noticed even as a kid. The flower pots.
Right.
It sounds, and excuse my French, like they're saying, fuck you.
Right.
What is the story behind that? Was that intentional?
No, not at all. It's just my voice saying thank you. I just pitched it down, right? I went, thank you, like, and just like, that's what I did, right? So, but Nintendo kept thinking I was saying fuck you, and I felt like I was kind of thinking, surely you're crazy. You don't really think I would say that in a Nintendo family game,
Right.
So I re-recorded it a few times, and I think they realized in the end I was saying thank you. I don't know why. It just one of those weird things that they thought they could hear it. So as I said, I redid it a few times until they were happy. But yeah, it's just my voice pitched down saying thank you. So I don't know. That's a weird one.
Yeah. So did you do the voice, especially in Banjo-Tooie, when Mumbo Jumbo is doing the like, not the transformation, because you can actually play Mumbo in Banjo-Tooie. When he's doing his, like, for example, the rain dance or whatever, and he's doing that chant. Did you create that?
Yeah, that's all. Mumbo's voice is all me.
Okay. And now what does all that mean? Or was that just you speaking gibberish?
No, there's an old football chant in the UK when the opposing fans want to fight each other. They used to chant, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough." And so that was and so I thought it was hilarious to do that. So I just did that. I just went, "Come on, have a go if you think you're hard enough," like that. And then I pitched it down. And it's because, like, in the second game, Mayhem Temple was supposed to be in the first game, right? But we didn't quite make it in time, so it got into the second game. So that chant was in the background. If you listen to that piece, the Mayhem Temple, you can hear that chant in the background. It's me doing that, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough." And then when it came to So that didn't make it into the game. But then when it came to doing Mumbo's voice for his talking stuff, like the rest of the characters, I just took those samples and just they were very short and just triggered them in random orders. That's it. So Mumbo, when he talks, he's selecting from that batch of that 10, 12 samples, whatever it is.
Nice.
So he selected that. But then I found when I put them in a different order, I think you could say Uminaka. It is. I mean, if you look at if you go through on Akko, the way I pronounced it, you can see how I made up Uminaka and kind of thing. So and Ikumbokum. No, sorry, Uminaka was done. That was a phrase, right? So but the Ikumbokum, that is those samples played in a different order.
Okay.
So it's just that. Yeah, Uminaka was a phrase that I made up, but the Ikumbokum is that Akko just rearranged. I messed around with it until I found a word that I liked or a sound that I liked, and that's what he says when he does the Ikumbokum thing.
Nice, and it really comes out really well. Like I even to this day I do the chant when Mumbo's doing the stuff. I still do it. I have to. I mean, it's just iconic. So we do know, and I don't know if this is something you might know the answer to. You might. At the end of Banjo-Tooie, they hint at Banjo-Threeie. Why wasn't Banjo-Threeie ever made?
So I don't think there's a really hard and fast answer about that. I feel like Greg Mayles is the lead designer on Banjo-Kazooie and Tim Stamper is the boss of the company. They're both kind of guys that don't like to repeat themselves. They like to make new stuff. And so they always felt like they didn't want to do it. It was never on like, and I don't think we ever looked at doing that. We went straight after doing Grab by the Ghoulies. That's what the team did straight after Banjo-Tooie to go to the Xbox. And Microsoft bought the company and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't until it came to do Nuts and Bolts that the kind of Banjo-Threeie thing was floated. And Greg wasn't very keen to do a rehash or to make another game in the same vein. He wanted to do something new, something fresh. And so that's when Rare had bought in the Havoc physics engine. And there was a demo at the start of like cubes bumping into each other and all that kind of thing. And that gave him the idea of putting cubes together to make things, to build machines and all. That's how that idea kind of kicked off. But just prior to that, the idea was to go back to Banjo-Kazooie, remake the entire game as a co-op. That was the first idea. To redo the entire game, all new textures, bring it up to date, do a full HD version, but make it a co-op. I remember doing meetings about that. Some of the artists said, it'll take us the same amount of time to retexture the entire first game and make it look up to date as it would to make a whole new game. There's no difference in time. It's the same thing. Why would it make a new game? And then Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was hatched to do that. So I feel like Nuts and Bolts gets a bit of a bad rap. And I looking back on it, perhaps it would have been better to do it with a different IP. But make it a completely fresh IP without Banjo-Kazooie, kind of thing. But I have to say that my son was like young, back then when it came out. And when we moved to America in 2008, and when his friends used to come over, that was the game they wanted to play. Like they had no idea who Banjo-Kazooie was. They hadn't played the first two games. My son knew, but nobody else did. And so they loved that game because it could build stuff. It was, in some respects, it predates Minecraft because you could build anything you wanted to, make a machine, make a plane, make a boat, make a submarine, you name it, right? A bit like in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom right now, right? It's like that. So I feel like it was a great idea. It just didn't work with those two characters. But I know from watching my son's friends who had no idea of Banjo-Kazooie, they loved it. They played it over and over and over again. So I think for the Banjo-Kazooie hardcore audience, and also the fact that Rare had been bought by Microsoft, didn't like that, and it didn't work Nintendo anymore. There's a bit of a backlash there, already from Grab by the Ghoulies too. So it was just an unfortunate set of circumstances. But I still stand by Nuts and Bolts. I think it's a good game.
Yeah, I think it was a good game as well. I actually enjoyed it. I'm probably one of the few, but I really did enjoy it. And I would love to see a Banjo-Threeie come out. What do you think it's 25 years since the original. Do you think maybe by the 25th anniversary of Banjo-Tooie, could we possibly get an announcement? Maybe Banjo-Threeie would come out. Do you think there's ever any hope for that?
My honest opinion is it'll never happen. That's my honest opinion.
Okay.
I'm not very popular for saying that, but I know that Rare have no interest. Or I don't know, but I think that Rare have got, they're doing Sea of Thieves. They've got that other game going, Everwild. I can't remember the name of it. I mean, just Sea of Thieves is a big giant project with a lot of people that really like playing it. So Rare committed to that for a lot of years. And the other game they're making, which is just in its infancy. So Rare have got an appetite to make another Banjo game. My only thing what I'd say was, if a team somewhere in the world wanted to make another Banjo game and they presented Rare with a great idea and they got the humor and they had the passion, because I think half the battle the Banjo game is to get that passion, to get that humor in there. It's a very British humor that's in that game. Like people, it's a special thing, I think. So I'm just pontificating, but like if some team in the world really wanted to do it, they could show Rare a great idea about how what they wanted to do with it. They got all the humor. Then maybe but that would be the only way it could happen. Rare would never do it.
Right.
I don't think they would. So my opinion is it's unlikely that you'll see another Banjo game, but it's not out of the question. I just think it's unlikely. That's what I think.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll throw my hat out there. I'm a programmer. I would love to take those reins on, but I mean, obviously, it would be great to see that for all Banjo fans. And it's funny because every 5 years, I always see it resurface on Reddit and everything. Like, this is the year they're going to make that announcement.
I know, and I also, I've got to say, like, I guess I've got like 110,000 Twitter followers, whatever, and I kind of feel inside that bubble, Banjo is a very big noise, right? Right. So inside that kind of Banjo-Kazooie bubble that I kind of live in a little bit on Twitter. But outside of that, in the real world, is there enough people that really want to buy that game? And like, at the end of the day, it does boil down to money. People aren't going to put money into making something they can't make money out of it. You've got to pay the staff and make all that stuff, right? So I think sometimes the Banjo fans don't realize that. And the Crash Bandicoot HD remakes did fantastically well, but the new game didn't. Right. And I also feel that Banjo fans are pretty harsh. And I think that, if somebody made a Banjo game, even though the fans would be dying to get another Banjo game, if it didn't quite live up to their expectations, they would hammer it to death. Like, they would absolutely kill it. And so I feel like, because you're never going to beat that nostalgia you had when you were a kid playing it, right? And so, look at ukulele. People really hammered ukulele. Well, not everybody, but some people hammer ukulele for the wrong reasons, I think. And I do feel like that's something that the Banjo fans should consider. That the excitement for a Banjo game would be tremendous. And if it came out and didn't meet their expectations, and everyone and the dev team tried super hard, they would hammer it to death. And if they can promise that they won't do that, then maybe a team would take it on. But it's to take on that responsibility of trying to produce something that the hardcore fans are going to like is very difficult. Because no matter what you do, it's never going to live up to the nostalgia feeling that people got for Banjo 1 and 2. So, that's how I feel about it.
Absolutely. And I know that with Banjo-Kazooie, like Banjo-Threeie would have been great if it came out on the Nintendo 64 after Banjo-Tooie, because it's following that footsteps. But now it's all these years later, we don't have a Nintendo 64 anymore. You know what I mean? Like, people have retro consoles, but they aren't making games actively for the Nintendo 64 anymore. That's over with. So like, it's going to be tough. And I mean, it's such a classic game, and one wrong thing to it that they feel isn't what Banjo-Kazooie was like, then it might not get a good reception.
I know that's I feel like it's like, I don't know. It's like HBO are going to remake Harry Potter, right? They're making the Harry Potter in a TV series. And my wife's just calling me.
No problem.
And so, that's a big undertaking for them to take on making a TV series about it's whatever it's a whole season per book, right? They're going to do. So that's like, like, can you imagine the Harry Potter fans who love Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint and all the way it was? That's going to be a really tough sell, that is, to do that. And like, I want to see it. I love Harry Potter, But I'm going to be going, oh, it's different actors. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
We could be comparing it, right? It's a really, really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I'd love to
Absolutely.
see another Banjo. I'd love to see another Banjo game. I'd love to see another fantastic Banjo game that's got all the humor, it's got all the love and attention that game has. Um,
Right.
but I'm just doubtful. I just feel like
Right.
it's unlikely.
Absolutely. And I like I said, I think a Banjo-Threeie game would be great. But what I do think would be amazing is this might be a long shot, like you said about the Harry Potter. Turn Banjo-Kazooie into an animation, like the Super Mario Bros. Turn it into not just a movie, but maybe make it into a series based off of the original game.
I must admit, I think that'd be a great idea. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
And I do feel like after the success of the Mario movie, I'm sure all the film executives around here, I'm not really daughter's track on, all the film executives in Hollywood over here, I bet they're all going, right, so Mario's been massive. What can we do? What character can we get to make a big movie out of? I'm sure they're all thinking about it right now. We've got Sonic, haven't we? Sonic, sorry, we've got the Pokemon movie, we've got Mario now as well. So, and I'd love to see it. I think it'd be a great idea, but if anyone does it, I don't know. And then Rare would have to approve it. I don't know.
Yep, absolutely. I think that would be amazing. So the last question I got for you, do you have anything at all that you would like to promote? Anything that you got going on? Any other projects, websites, social media accounts, anything at all?
Not really at the moment. I'm just finished my rabbit, so that's my thing. So I guess the DLC 3 will be coming out at some point.
Yeah.
DLC 2's just out. Just done a movie called Murder Syndicate, which is a little indie movie I've just done. That's just doing the rounds right now. You can see that on Amazon Prime and everywhere else. So if you want to go see that, it's got a very different kind of electronic score, but I mean kind of synthy thing. Check it out if you want to hear something different from me. And I will say, so the World Soundtrack Awards happens in Ghent every year, right? And last year I did a movie called The King's Daughter, with Pierce Brosnan and William Hurt, and it's the people's vote. You can vote for it, right? I mean, because I asked my Twitter followers and everybody else to vote for it, we actually won the award. It's fantastic. So this year they're doing the first. I do video games now into the Ghent World Soundtrack Awards, and so Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope is on the long list, right?
Okay.
So if anybody would care to go to the World Soundtrack Awards website, you have to register, and you get an email sent to you, and then you can vote in the People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
Go there and vote for Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That I would be very appreciative if you could do that.
There you go. Everybody watching this, vote, vote, vote.
Yes. So World Soundtrack Awards, you just got to register to vote, and then you get an email, and then you have to whatever. You go to your account, you can see there's a people's vote for the movie and for video games.
Okay.
So it's the very first time they've done it. So if Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope could get in there, maybe even win it, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
So I'm asking anybody that can possibly help out to go and do that vote.
Absolutely, and I'll go and do that right when I get off here. While I'm waiting for this whole thing to export, I'll definitely.
Yeah. Also, I've put the instructions on my Twitter account. It says there's two little posts, 1 and 2. Second post shows you the website to go. There's a link there to the website, and it shows you the instructions what to do. So if any of your followers can do that, I'd be very, very, very appreciative.
Absolutely. Please, if you follow me, and I know there's a lot of you out there, please vote for Grant and get them to win. Have this, give them a win. We need it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Grant, so much for taking your time for joining me today.
Anytime.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, just to let everybody know, if you're watching this on YouTube, the video version, please like, subscribe. Subscribe, but slashing that subscribe button, /Scotty, so you got to slash it. And comment, rate, share on social media. If you're listening to the audio platforms on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the others, please rate, comment, like, share on social media. If you want some merchandise, go to my merchandiser, virtual merch booth, pick up your copy of /Scotty merchandise. I don't know if you can see it. I got my own Funko Pop, so check those out. And then last but not least, I got my book, The Ultimate Halloween Movie Experience, forward by Jamie Lee Curtis, and 18 original interviews from films, cast, and crew members, and thousands of trivia questions. And of course, I'm on Cameo, so make sure to, if you want something for birthday, anniversary, or if you're just in a relationship that's just not going so well and you want to break up, but you're a coward to do it, I'll do it for you. So just book me.
I'm on Cameo too. I'll do a cameo. Hit me up for a cameo.
There you go. Get Grant up for a cameo. Don't get me, get Grant.
Get both of us.
Get both of us. Thank you, Grant, so much. It's been so much fun and an honor to, to talk and rehash and to reminisce about the classic Bear and Bird.
Anytime.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Bye.
All right, cheers.
Yep. Bye.